Welcome to Real Life and Archetypes. My name is Marina. So, let's say that you move to Dubai to make money, and then you complain about everyone there who is obsessed with money. Well, what did you expect? So this is the subject of, somebody I was watching the other day talk about that. He had moved to Dubai in search of prosperity, and he was making a list, of pros and cons, but he had moved out of Dubai after less than 2 years, 1 year and a half. So that was not so great. But he was commenting in particular about the dating scene. And what I found very interesting was how he was lacking self awareness, because he was saying that, he would talk with his friend about how the women there's this Dubaiification of women, that they're so shallow and they just want, they're just after the material stuff. And I was listening and I was quite baffled, because I thought, well, didn't you move there because of money? Why would you expect something different from women there? Because, listen, I know a little bit of the lifestyle over there. I almost moved there and I almost fell for, well, I didn't fall. I was not okay with that choice. That was in my previous life. I put my foot down. I don't know if it changed the outcome. I don't even remember. I want to forget that life. But at some point, there was this possibility to move there. And again, the carrot was, yeah, we're going to make more money there and blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I want to think about something else, not just money. I want to know about whether I'm going to be happy there. Is it a lifestyle? And I really didn't see it for a lot of reasons. And especially in the culture here, the environment where I live in the south of Spain, Marbella, which is a very touristic place. And there's a lot of very wealthy people around here. It's famous everywhere because of that. There's a lot of shallow people here, and we know very much of what is going on in Dubai, especially at that time, so many years ago, when Dubai was starting to build, the palm and all of those things. It was just the beginning, and everybody wanted to sell the idea of, you have to invest now. This is the future. And yeah, that's what happened. So I was not at all enticed to go there. It didn't matter how much money we were going to make. I didn't like the idea at all, because I knew of the lifestyle there, which is, it's just that. It's all about money and escorts and all of that stuff. And I really don't want to be in that lifestyle. I'm not interested in socializing with that kind of people. I was kind of tired of that crap back then. So I put my foot down. And again, I don't remember if my voice really was heard, but we didn't go. So that was good. So this guy, he's talking about the women in Dubai, which, there's a lot of escorts and things like that, women looking for the wealthy guy. And one thing you hear a lot about cases like that, and I see that here where I live, a lot of, in my previous life, the clients that we had, we would go to their places, and you have the typical 60-year-old guy who is twice divorced and now has a 22-year-old girlfriend, whether a Russian doll or somebody from Brazil or things like that. It's just how it is. So a lot of people, they call these women gold diggers. And yeah, okay, true. But what about the guy? It's like the guys don't get anything out of the equation. And a partnership is a contract. So I'm always thinking, well, these guys, they also get something out of having those women's. There's always something for both of them in a relationship, a contract, a partnership is a contract. Okay, so for me, I look at it in a different way. I'm like, okay, and I've met some of them. They're wonderful women in many ways. In other ways, well, they have their thing. They're like children, some of them, and that's what the men want. So they each get what they want, don't they? But they call the women gold diggers. I'm a little surprised by that. But this guy was expressing something that was very much along those lines, because I'm like, so you move to Dubai because you want more money, and now you go into the dating scene and you don't like that women are also after money. I'm very surprised by that. So first of all, that you would be surprised that that's what you find, when everybody knows, Dubai, it's the escort scene number one. Well, there are many, but it's one of them. And that's what they're looking for. And that's what you're looking for. So the guy was like, yeah, I would like more like a normal woman and more maternal and all that stuff. Well, don't go to Dubai. Don't go to Dubai. You're not going to find that kind of women over there, because you go there for money, and so do everybody else. So that's one of the things, that this is when we need to really realize that sometimes we just don't understand how disconnected we are from pure logic. That, if you're looking for those things, why is it bad that others are looking for the same thing? And why are you surprised that when you go to that place to look for that thing, you meet others who have the exact same intentions? Because that's what Dubai is. This is what the place is. It's not a place, to fulfill yourself on a soul level. It is the place where everybody goes with the aspiration to make money. And that's it. So do all of the women. And by the way, looking at the guy, I was like, physically, it's not, he didn't project the kind of personality and physicality of someone who would attract the most, the escort of Dubai. And I'm thinking, this is another kind of disconnect that people have in their aspirations, that they don't understand that when they aspire to something, it might not correspond to who they are, not in a natural way. And this is because the world has, so many carrots for us, so many references, so many things that we're supposed to pursue. And we look for knowledge, guidance, and the steps, and all kinds of information in order to get there, to those aspirations, to reach those aspirations, without realizing that this is not our destination. And it happens all the time. So people, for example, will go and look for knowledge about, how to manage your daily life like a gazillionaire. And you're like, dude, you're not a gazillionaire. Why do you look for that kind of knowledge? Well, okay, maybe you aspire to be a gazillionaire. So let me do that and just learn how they are so that I can become that. Is everybody supposed to be a gazillionaire? Because a lot of people are doing that. And you're like, just by statistics, it's not going to work. So the thing is that this thing about, educating yourself and looking for guru information about how to become a gazillionaire is something that everybody is doing. But I would remind you that the guru business is one of the most profitable ones, and that the whole thing is to sell the idea and the dream and the aspiration. I have seen so many interviews and videos, and I've researched that so much, how we fall for that kind of trap. People are going to put those carrots, and they're going to fabricate a vision of what is possible to attain, and we're going to fall for that stuff. But it's not necessarily our destination to attain those aspirations. This is, by the way, one of the archetypes that I also work with. It's the one that seeks a bigger experience, that aspires to something bigger. And of course, one of the things that we need to look at is whether really it matches or it connects with the life that we want to live and who we really are, because it just turns out that 95% of people are just reading the same books and learning and going to workshops. It's a business, all that stuff, to stir and stimulate people's dreams and oh God. So the thing is, it's a huge business. And of course, they're going to tell you a lot of stories. I see that online all the time. A lot of people are creating a market based on zero substance, and they're selling this image to people on how to manage your life like a top CEO, like a millionaire, how to make money, how to do this, how to, every time you see how to, it's a business because that's what they're selling. And so now you believe that if you do those steps, you're going to be, super rich. How's that working out for you? That's my question. Anyway, so just going back to our friend in Dubai, that's a great example. This guy who goes, so he takes action, he moves to Dubai and he attracts, and then he resents what he finds. And, the thing is that if you don't realize that you're part of the equation, you're just lacking a lot of self-awareness. Because to me, it's just logical. You move there because of money. Everybody does the same. Why are you surprised? So this is a huge subject, by the way, to not know where you're going and to be deceived and to believe things that are, you know, just shown to you as possible to attain that might not correspond with who you really want to be. And this was an example. I mean, kudos to the reflection. What I thought was surprising was his surprise, but he was reflecting on, it didn't work out. So after a year and a few months, he decided to go back home. So I'm thinking there's a lot more to the story than just, well, the dating scene was not really that great. I think there's probably a lot more. But again, people want to appear like there's something that they're not. This is the problem with that kind of stimulation, that you're just gonna run and run pursuing things that are false, and you become false as well. So be careful what you wish for. Make sure that it is true to yourself. That's also another archetype which is related to money, to make sure that it fits your nature, the talents that you want to use. And maybe I should stop here, but no, it's important actually, because the archetype that relates to how we want to make money and how we relate to money is actually the one that is telling us, hey, look beyond just money. It's not that money is not important, it is. Be pragmatic. But the problem is that we're going to be, blinded by a lot of bling bling, and we don't understand that there's something much more beautiful in terms of making money. It is the way that we can use our natural talent, or the way that we can be resourceful in a way that feels natural to the self. And the problem is that for those who have a lot of that archetype, they're going to be miserable, because instead of paying attention to those references that are natural to the self, they're going to pay attention to references that the world is telling them to say, no, look for money first. So make your decision based on how much money that's going to give you, instead of something else, So anyway, that's a whole other subject that I will talk about more, money and all that stuff. So let's just, just stop going to Dubai unless, make sure that you know what you're going to find there, which is, yeah, it's not a deep world. It is, if money and escorts is your thing, go there. But otherwise, you're going to be just another one who's going to be disappointed. There are so many. I'm just so tired of seeing that. But to me, it is just so obvious. Anyway, I'll talk to you the next time. Thank you for watching.